All right, $3 billion company. Very annoying website when it just keeps glitching out like this. So, 3 billion, spend a little bit of that money fixing your website because this shit is not acceptable, of course. Leveraged gold and copper. I like copper too. Copper is a good place to be, in my opinion. KSM has 19.6 billion pounds of permitted, measured, and indicated copper resources. All right, 50 million ounces of gold in reserves. All right. That sounds good. The core asset. We want to learn more about the core asset. We want to learn more about Courageous Lake, about 3 acres. Bronzo, sure. We want to learn more about everything. All right, so they have about 5 core assets, which is always the question, how core is a core asset if you have 5 of them? So we have Rudy Frank, 35 years of experience in the gold mining business, primarily as a senior officer and director of publicly traded companies. I would always like to know the names of these companies so that I can look them up and see for myself what the experience has been. Always, when I'm looking at management team, I always ask myself a couple questions before I start. Does the management team have experience? Is that experience successful? And success in this market means have you built a mine, sold it, or is it still in the pipelines to be actually producing? Has the management team worked together in the past? And if they have, were their experiences relevant to the task at hand? And if it's a yes on all of these criteria, that's a very good sign for the project. So that is what I look for. So if I see company names, then I can actually look at the company, look at what they did, look at what they ended up being to answer those questions. In 1999, founded Seabridge. So it's a pretty old company, right? 27, 28 years old right now. And this CEO has been there since the start. That is very impressive. That means that the company has um, definitely got through a couple bear markets, right? Bull market in 2000 to 2005, then the bear market, then up until 2011, then the bear market until 2016, then the bear market till 2020, then the bear market till now. So definitely a very rich history for this company. But that also means company has been around for 25 years. And I believe when we are looking, I definitely want to see this company producing gold. Because if you're not producing gold after 25 years, what's the question going to be then? When are you going to go into production? And if it's the answer is going to be never, then the question is, are you going to be able to sell any of these projects? And that's a more complicated question. That's a more complex question to answer because that's really one of the two ways that you are getting paid as an investor in this market. If you're actually investing in here and not speculating on price movements, it's either by becoming a producing mine or by selling the project for cash. Mr. Ryan Wool, he has 25 years of experience on management and developments, Rio Tinto, Lundin Mining, New Gold, Arizona Mining, South 33, project development roles. See, with this guy, you instantly get, you get answers to your questions. Where has this man worked before? What did he do? Were these companies successful? Rio Tinto, of course, one of the biggest miners. Lundin Mining, extremely big company, extremely important family in this industry. New Gold, big company. Arizona Mining, I don't know too much about them, but question still is, what were his experiences and were his experiences relevant to the project? Question still remains, is that experience super relevant to the tasks at hand? And have they worked together in the past? Well, Seabridge is a company that's been around for 25 plus years, apparently. So, of course, there's going to be a lot of synergies within that year within the same company. William Turkold, he's been in this company for 19 years. So this is something that you see with older companies, of course. I work for my day job. I work for a extremely old company. And you see that people have been there for 25, 30 years. And this guy, 19 years. Um, yeah. So there's a lot of, synergy that you get with that. The vice president. of Seabridge defined more than 45 million ounces of measured and indicated gold. So this guy's found a lot of gold. Let me see. Let me get the technical report. The KSM project is one of the world's largest undeveloped gold projects as measured by reserves and resources. In the pre-feasibility study, it is estimated to have 47.3 million ounces of gold and 7.3 billion pounds of copper. That is very, very big. I remember Barrick used to be Barrick Gold, and they changed their name on the most opportune moment to lose the gold, which is unfortunate because it was a great name. Now they're just Barrick. But Barrick dropped the gold from their name because they are moving away from being a primary gold miner. They are going to be mining gold and copper. That is a very big change, in their future, in their strategic plans. So seeing that there are big projects with gold ounces and copper ounces, that is very attractive because a lot of these very, very, very big mines are looking for a combination of both because they simply cannot find the gold projects that are simply just mining gold. It's always going to be a combination of gold and copper these days. Or, well, not always, but, you see this more and more. All right. So a lot of gold, a lot of copper. I think gold is going to go up. I think copper is also going to go up. So combination of those two is pretty good. In July 2014, the project receives its environmental assessment certificate. The final federal approval was received on December 2014. So let me just say, if the final approval was received in 2014 and this mine is not in production right now, I do have some very big questions. Question one is a why. That is the biggest question out there. 3 letters, extremely important question. Project updates. Decision to issue construction permits for Seabridge Gold delayed. All right. So the last permits were given in 2014 and it is now 2026 and we are still talking about permits. Announced today, so on April 10th, they announced that they received a letter from the Ministry of Mining that the decision on their permit over the full length has been delayed. All right, so 2 things in this press release that pop up instantly is that I don't believe that they're mining right now and that there is some legal conflicts about lands that they hold, or, well, lands that are near them. So those are 2 very big red flags. Why are they big? And why are they red? Of course, because this company has been in business since the year 2000, right? They've been taking investors' money, they've been pouring it into the ground in order to build a resource and eventually get a mine going. Then in 2014, they received the permits, apparently, and now in 2026, they're still not mining gold from this project, and they are in a legal conflict right now. So those are not good things. That means that there is going to be extreme delays. Yeah. Mind you, why is Seabridge Gold still not producing anything today after so many years? Yeah, well, that is the big question, right? That is the question. They've been trying to make a mine happen for so long. They got a very big resource, right? They got roughly 60 or 50 million ounces of gold and a whole bunch of copper. Seabridge Gold. Let's see how much this stock is trading for right now. The stock is trading for about 3.2 billion, so that is 3.1 billion divided by 50 million ounces of gold. That is, you're buying an ounce of gold when you buy this company for about 64 bucks. But that seems really cheap, but they haven't been able to get it into production. So the question is, are they ever going to be able to get it into production? If they are, you're probably going to make a tremendous amount of money on this stock. But in, since 2014, since they've received the permits until now, that's about, 12 years, they haven't been able to. So the question is, are they going to be able to in the future? And the second question is, how much do they dilute their shareholders in order to get there? Because, if you buy a very cheap stock, but you get diluted in the way to production, you're still not making any money because you're just going to lose, you're just going to lose all your money. They currently have, right, as of their last financial statement, March 31st, 2026, they got a whole bunch of money. They got 126 million in cash or cash equivalents. They got mineral interest, property, and equipment. They got $1.3 billion in equipment. All right. They got some security note liabilities of $500 million. All right. We are definitely going to take a look at those. In the 3 months ended March 31st, 2026, right? They have a corporate and administrative expense of $6.1 million. They have a foreign currency exchange. All right, they probably hold Canadian dollars. They are spending $6.1 million. They do have a lot of cash, so it's a well-funded, very big project. There's probably a whole bunch of investors in there that have been in here for a while, trying to see whether or not this can become a producing mine. Let's see how much they diluted their shareholders. As of March 31st, 2026, and as of March 31st, 2025, they used to have 100 million and they now have 107 million. So they dilute about 7% year over year. That is not a very high dilution rate, but they've been doing that for a while probably, and they are spending pretty high amount of numbers on their G&A. Secured note liabilities on March 24, 2022, the company sold a secure note. All right, so they have some debt, right? The company has some debt with another company of about, at this moment, $247.1 million. And if the company does not get their financing in place to make this construction before March 24, 2028, the company might have to pay back $247 million in cash to the holders of this secured note. And afterwards, if they get the financing, they have sold up to 60% of their silver exposure. So they keep the gold exposure, they keep the copper exposure, but they've sold, in this case, the silver exposure. So this is particularly scary this is particularly interesting for people who own this stock, because this date, March 24, 2028, now is very important to you. Because they need to have some form of financing done before this date. If that doesn't happen, then there's a very big question. And the question is, where are they going to get this money? And if they don't have the money, they can also give them a whole bunch of shares, which is going to be a little bit less than 10% of their market cap at this point. So in general, right, if we look at Seabridge, we can see that this is a company that has been in business since the year 2000. It has not been able to produce a mine, even though the project is extremely big and very cheap right now. They do not dilute their shareholders all that much, but the big question remains, are they going to be able to produce a mine eventually? And if they are going to be able to produce that, how long is that going to take them? There is a very interesting financial agreement that they have agreed on, as you can see in this part right here, where they have agreed to borrow $247 million, and they are going to have a security, or sorry, they are going to have financing for their development, construction, and commercial production for the project in place by March 24, 2028. Otherwise, they are on the hook to pay back $247 million. Right now, the company on their balance sheet has $126.8 million in cash on their balance sheet. So if that date comes around, they're going to have to raise a lot of money to pay back the shareholders or, well, the debt holders. If they are not going to be able to do that, then the company is probably going to be able to have to give them shares, which is about a little bit less than 8% of their market cap. So there's extra dilution. So the question for shareholders of this stock is, are they going to be able to make this mine? Because if they are, you're probably going to make, a whole good amount of money on this because you can buy it so cheap right now. I will just leave it at that for Seabridge. I will tell you to do your own due diligence. Of course, always, it's not financial advice, etc., etc.